I am so glad to be sharing with you tonight. I'm sharing something that you've had your eye on for a while and have asked me to introduce to you and to show how it was done. And so that's what's happening. My name is Lillian from Stampers Niche, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Alberta, Canada. And I just want to welcome everyone here. So tonight's project is going to be it can be, or it doesn't have to be, a gift card holder. So as we go down to my desktop, why don't you share with us whether you like to make gift card holders, whether you don't, and maybe have you made a favorite one at some point? Or what occasions do you like to use gift card holders? So do you like to receive gift card holders? Do you like to give them? Let's share some of those ideas. Most of all, make sure you say hi. I so appreciate the support of, that was my instructions, so I remember what to do. I so appreciate all of your support and the many ways that you show it, whether it's a thumbs up or a sharing or a comment or a subscribe or even orders, whatever. Just I thank you for your support and for hanging out with me here. So what I'm going to do tonight is two-pronged. It's the gift card holder, but it's also to showcase a certain designer paper that's in the mini catalog, and you'll see samples on page 28, and you'll see the designer paper here on page 29 of the mini catalog. Now, what is extra special about this designer paper is that $4 of every package of this designer paper that is sold, so that's a significant amount, goes to children's literacy in our area. So if you're watching from a different part of the world, and I know many of you are, it goes to your part of the world if you so choose it. So this is part of a suite. All these products work together, and you can buy them together or individually. I bought the paper and the embellishments, but I didn't get this. I'm kind of regretting it because some of these dies cut out some of these images. So I might have to remedy that in the future, but I do love the parts that I have. I'm going to come back to this page in a minute because I just want to show you the paper. It's called Sentimental Christmas, and it's called that because the designs are kind of sentimental. They're kind of vintage. And I know some of you laugh at this, but I like even though the colors that coordinate are here, I like it nice and big and bold. So let's look at some of the papers. So there's this one here. So one of the dies cuts this out, or you could fussy cut, or you could cut a circle or an oval if you wanted. Just really Christmassy. And then here we have something like this. I'm going to show you how to use that as well. So it works great on a scrapbook page, but it also works great for cards when you cut it up. Then there's this one here, and then this great piece here. So see how they go together, the front and the back? But yet this is busier. This is more generic. You could use it non-Christmas times. This reminds me of the candy. One of my friends, her mom always had, mom and dad, this kind of candy, and just, I love the look of that. And then these trees, just a great feel there as well. These deer are so cute. And again, you could use a circle die to cut out just the little scene if you wanted. And then on the back, we have pecan pie and white, and it's all snowflakes. So I don't often think of using these two colors together for Christmas, but I've seen some gorgeous cards made with that and scrapbook pages. Then there's this, it's a little like a nosegay, and then your generic stripes that make me think of candy canes. Then there's this gorgeous scene here. Isn't that beautiful? So make a beautiful scrapbook page. But it would make a beautiful card too, even if you use like just the panels or whatever. And then on the back, you have this. So now that you've seen the designer paper, let's take a closer look at this page here. So see how this paper here, they just used a corner of it to to do like that. Here you can see that this, you could either stamp it or you could die cut it from the paper like that. And some of these as well. And so you can see the paper is used like in backgrounds, in wrapping paper, and in so many different ways. So don't be limited in the way you use your paper. So tonight we're going to work with, we're actually going to work with this piece of paper right here. And we're going, one of the coordinating colors is shaded spruce. So we've got a piece of cardstock here that is 4 1/4 by 11. So it's half a sheet, and we are going to score it in half at 5 1/2. Oops, got a little extra there. So we'll line it up at 5 1/2, and we'll make sure we've got the scoring blade and score it like that. Now what we want to do is we want to cut up to, or you can go down to, the scored line. And for me, it helps if I make it a little more visible. And we want to have it so that it is one, if this was going to be the front, so that it is 1 1/4 on this side, and so that I just covered up my measurements, and 3 inches on this side. Must be 3 1/4. So there we have it like that. So the card that we're making, I should have shown you. This is a card I've shown you before. I showed it to you a couple of months ago, I think. I received this in a swap from Shanna Miller. And so you can see that it's cut part way, and this part is glued down to make a gift card holder. Now you could glue it down totally too if you wanted. It's totally whatever you wanted to do. And then this side is all decorated, and the designer paper, it gets to be showcased a little bit there. So that's what we're doing there. And I'm just going to double check that measurement. Yes, it is 3 inches. So here we go. We're going to line this up, and I am going to, it's going to make more sense to me if I do it from the bottom, because that's how it goes. So I'm going to line it up at 3 inches, then use my cutting blade now, and I'm going to go right up to the score line. Now, let me just show you something before I get started. If you look at your cutting blade, there are little marks on the side, and that is showing you exactly where the blade is. So I know that when those little marks are lined up with that scored line, they are going to be all lined up, and it's going to be perfect. So what you have to do is trust your cutter, right? So here we go. So those little lines are now lined up with the score line. So there we have it, just like that. I'll take this out of the way, and we're going to work from here. So this is going to be the pocket. Before we glue it down, we have to do something with this. So we're going to bring this in here, and I forgot to bring in any stamps to decorate the inside, so we will just ignore that. So this is 5 1/4, pardon me, 5 1/4 by 4. So it's our usual next layer, just 1/4 of an inch smaller. We're going to do like that. You could have made it smaller, but it's just simpler to do that. Plus it won't catch on a gift card. Well, no, I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to glue it down. I was going to go rummaging for stamps, but no, that will be just too distracting. So I'm going to glue that down right off the bat. You'll notice that Shanna here, she stamped down here before she glued it in. And so you could do something like that too, or you could stamp here. You could stamp your greeting ahead of time, whatever you want to do. So we've got it like that. Now, this is going to get glued down. Now, if you don't want it to be a gift card holder, and I was thinking, you know, at Christmas time or other times, often we tuck pictures in. So you could put pictures or money or even little quotes or that kind of thing. If you didn't want to put something in there, you could glue this down flat, but we want to make it a pocket. So we're going to bring in our multi-purpose glue, and we're going to glue down the narrow end and the outside edge, and we're going to stay pretty close to the edge. So just like that, and then when we glue it down, we'll make sure that the edges all line up. And just like that, we have made a little pocket here. We've made the basics of the card. All we have to do now is pretty it up, right? So what I decided to do was to bring in a piece of that gorgeous paper. Oh, I could have used that side too. If I had the die, I would have die cut one of those to use on this card, but I didn't have the die and I wasn't feeling patient enough to fussy cut. But I cut this down just so that it is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. Now in Thursday's newsletter, I'll have the measurements and the tutorial there, just like so that you can remember it too, or have a ready reference, pardon me. So that's one of the perks of being my newsletter subscriber. You always skip what I demo. You get the tutorial or the project sheet in the following Thursday's newsletter. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And it goes with the shaded spruce so much. So then the decision was, do I put designer paper here? Or do I cut another piece of shaded spruce that's a little narrower, or it's the same size of the designer paper, and emboss it and just add some interest like that? I decided to go with this. Either works well, and what Shanna did here was she had designer paper, but she used some white here. I thought for my eyes that was a little bit busy, so I'm going to save that for another card. And I have this piece here that's 1 1/8 by 5 1/4. So it's going to layer on here. I've embossed it with that wonderful tree embossing folder. I should know the name of it, but I forgot to put it in front of me here. I was using it in a class the other night and it hasn't got back into the right bin. So it's just got a nice border here, and I've got it a little bit crooked. There we go. So now we have it looking like that, and when we open it up, we still have, oh, I got it very crooked. Just about glued it shut. Let's try this. Green on green, or shaded spruce on shaded spruce, and I'm having a hard time seeing where the edges are. There we go. When you open it up, you also have this decorative piece on the inside. And if we had the designer paper, of course, that's what would be there as well. So now we've got it like that. So now we just have to do something here. Now, she put a circle and these cups and peppermint season and that kind of thing. Like I said, if I'd had the dies, I might have cut out a stocking, but I decided I would use a shape from the countryside corners, and I played with the sizes because I knew what words I wanted. So I went with the 1 2/3 from the outside one here, but of course you can use whatever shape you want, but I know some of you will ask. And I put the white on there and I thought, yeah, that looks nice, but I think it's not quite right. And then I remembered basic beige was one of the coordinating colors. And so I thought this just kind of adds to the feel. So that's why I switched over to basic beige there. And now we're going to make this focal point. So I'll put this to the side. I'm going to bring in, it's the most wonderful time of the year, and that is from, oh, I need that stamp set. That is from Greetings of the Season. So there we have it right there. And I'm going to stamp it in shaded spruce. I love my glass mat and this little silicone mat that goes with it. Love both of them. And I also love this saying. It's likely one of my most used sayings this year for greeting for the outside. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There we go. We've got that done. We'll close this up. Now, I wanted something to add a little bit of interest. And like I said, I wasn't smart enough to get the dies that went with this. So I looked around through my stash of stuff and I came across the winterly treetops, and I really liked the little branches in it. So I cut some of those out ahead of time here. Bring in this, and I'm going to bring in this here. And it has this little stem that you can put over top like that. So I'm going to just add a bit of glue to the stem. My silicone mat will make sure I don't get glue everywhere. There we go. Oops, there's a snowflake on there from another project. And we're just going to line this up. There we go. And then because I've got the glue, I can wiggle stuff around so that it makes a cute little branch with the buds on it. Just like that. Then I cut out some of the branches, and I cut some in shaded spruce like that. And then I cut some in old olive, which is a coordinating color. And what I did to the shaded spruce and to this old olive is I inked the edges, or this one too. So you can see how different it makes it look. So I wanted to show you how I did that. I brought in a sponge dauber. You could also use one of your blending brushes. And I like to use tone on tone. So this is old olive ink, and this is an old olive branch. And I'm just going to ink the edges a little bit like that. Just, it adds a little more dimension to me and a little more texture. So there we go. We've got that done. I'll close up the ink pad, move this out of the way, and start to assemble things. So if this is going on here, I could bring in some, I know what I want. The online exclusives now has gold twisted thread, and I love it. You can see some pieces in here where I separated them, but tonight, well, maybe I do want the separated ones. So what I did, let's just dump this all out. It comes and it is about this thickness, but the strands come apart and you can make it all kind of airy and that kind of thing. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive down here because I know that I'm going to make my branches go this way. I'm going to put a little bit of these strands, just separate them a little bit more. This is from another project, so I didn't have this part thought out so much. I'm going to just stick it into that adhesive, separate it out, just kind of swish it back and forth a little bit. So it just adds a little bit of texture to it. And it looks pretty gross right now, but that's okay. By the time we get some of these other things on, I think it's going to be just fine. So if we arrange a couple of branches here, And we have this coming out like that. Ooh, it's already adding. I'm pretty much burying my artistic threads though, aren't I? I'm going to remove them a little bit and make them a little bit, stick out a little bit more. There we go. So let's go back to this. We're going to do a little pine bough arranging like that. And then if we, then if we bring in oh yeah, I think that'll work. And then I'm going to tie a bow here as well. So this is an extra. I can put it on the inside if I want or whatever. So let's glue some of these things down. This was going to go on the back. Like that. And next was this one. Whoops. I got caught in the threads. I might regret those threads. There we go. And we'll put this one down. So remember, if you don't have what you want to use, look through your stash and find out what you could substitute. You would be amazed at what you can ad lib when you need to. We have the bow punch. A lot of you have that. That would have worked in here too. So there we go. Now I know that I'm going to put something there, but right now I think I am going to put it on here. Ooh, yes. So now the choice is to glue it flat, which is what Shanna did here, or you can put it on dimensionals. Let's try dimensionals here. So we'll put some dimensionals on this side. And then we'll, because that's the side that's going here. Now we don't want to glue it closed, so we'll put a few more here so they don't overlap the edge. That should do just fine. And then once we've done that, all we need to do is just add the finishing touches. Isn't this fun? And then I have some other another sample to show you. So there we go, like that. Come on, it's stuck. There we go. So now I think what I'll do is I am going to tie a bow with this twine. It ties beautifully. Just to add a little bit more. And let's see. Yeah, that just kind of finishes it off. And actually, I'm really happy with those little threads in the background. It all comes together once we get this on. And then we've got some gold embellishments. They're called druzy. They come in silver and gold, and they are just so sparkly and just perfect. In fact, a class that I taught, a Christmas card class I taught, everybody got a package of them because we used them on every card in the class, and they were a big hit. They were pretty thrilled with them. There we go. Ooh, look at that. This you'll want to have this in your stash of products, the gold twisted thread. It's 164603. I am just loving it. Alrighty, so we'll move that out of the way and we'll bring in our druzy. Whoops, I put all kinds of things in this bin. We'll bring in our druzy embellishments and just scatter a few to do the finishing touch. We could put one right there, couldn't we? Ooh, I kind of like that. We'll put one right there, the center of our little arrangement, our focal point, and then we can do a couple up here. They come in the 2 colors and in 2 sizes, and they're raised, but they're not really highly raised. So I think they would be just fine in the mail. That would work out beautifully. So now all we need to do is open it up and tuck a gift card in. And if you are wondering, you can always get a gift card from me if you've got some crafty friends in your life, or if you want someone in your life to give you one. And there it goes. It tucks right in there. Now, I know what some of you are saying. Could we make it so it goes this way? So I experimented a little bit. So we've got Shanna's that goes like this, and this one that goes like that. And then I brought in some of new paper from the online online exclusives, and some new dies. And this is where I use the little threads here and some new embellishments. And I turned it on its side, and I put the gift card holder down here. So say, for example, I always do my practice on old paper. You could actually just flip this over and have your smaller piece down here. So that would be another way of doing it there. So this was, and then I did a little stamping in here, and I actually added another layer. So I added that white layer in there. So you can add or subtract as much as you want. You can use different shapes. It can be whatever you have. It's just like doing a focal point on a card front. But it is absolutely a super layout and a wonderful way to give gift certificates to those teachers, those hard to buy for people, those coaches, those friends, whoever. Or I love to tuck a little picture in there as well. So thank you so much. I hope this inspires you to give it a try. Let me know if you try it. I would love to hear what you've done with it. It does not have to be just Christmas. It could be birthdays, whatever, right? Weddings, whatever you want. So enjoy, take care, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.